In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. The reality of the revolution of Iran in 1979. You know that during the Raza Shah Pehalwi's rule, he was the king, and the leftists were struggling there to bring the social revolution over there, socialist revolution over there, and they were quite powerful as well. There was quite a lot of chances that they will be able to topple the government of the Raza Shah Pehalwi and will bring a socialist revolution there. It were actually the university students where the communists, the socialists were working to bring the red revolution there in Iran. Their influence was growing, and the religious elements were also there. But the more powerful were, the more influential, the more popular were those of socialist ideology. The Shia Islamists, they were fewer, they were lesser in numbers and much less popular as well. What happened then? Khomeini Sahab was a teacher, religious teacher in the Qom. Raza Shah Pehalwi was trying to suppress both of these, the socialist elements on the one hand and the religious Shia religious on the other hand. Khomeini Sahib have to leave Qom. He migrated to Iraq first, Istanbul then, and finally Paris. He was residing in the neighborhood, in the suburbs of Paris. He was somewhat influential there in Iran, there in Qom. And the Western powers were trying their level best not to let the socialist elements come to power, because the biggest challenge at that time was that of the red ideology, was that of the socialism and communism. There were two major blocs in the world: the Western bloc led by the capitalist ideology, and then the Russian USSR bloc, socialist communist bloc. So Khomeini Sahib was there in the Paris, suburbs of Paris, France, and the Western world, particularly the France. They were providing him with all sort of assistance and will also trying to gain a bit of control over him as well. Then what did happen? That the Raza Shah Pehalwi became very much unpopular, very much unpopular. The people of Iran started hating him. And then, although the socialist ideology followers were more in numbers there in Iran, particularly in the universities, but it was the Western world which was actually fighting a proxy war. They were not against Raza Shah Pehalwi, but they knew that Raza Shah Pehalwi is here for only for a short span of time. And since he is becoming increasingly unpopular, so his government will be toppled pretty soon. And then what did they do? What did they do? They were working very hard. They were spending a lot of money on the so-called Islamists there in Iran, Shia Muslims in Iran, and Khomeini Sahab. Then it is because of the Western powers sport, huge sport of the Western powers, due to which the red ideology followers supported by USSR could not come to power. Instead, Khomeini Sahab was brought back to Iran in three chartered flights provided by the Iran, provided by the France, with all the media coverage. And then he took over because the general public was more with the Khomeini Sahab. But as far the universities were concerned, these were dominated by the socialist ideology admirers who wanted to bring the socialist revolution in Iran. Why did the Western world supported and preferred Khomeini Sahab and Shia Muslims there in Iran? Why did they do that? Because they were of the view that the biggest challenge at that time was that of the red ideology. They were of the view that once they defeat the red ideology, then it will be they will be able to quite comfortably control these so-called Muslim revolutionists, although they couldn't do it later on at all. These people, these Shia Muslims led by Khomeini Sahab, they became so strong, so independent that they refused the interference of the Western world at all. But initially they were supported a lot. Why? Because the Western world was of the view that they will not be able to control and to manage the red revolutionaries, because they were the biggest challenge, rather the biggest headache in front of the Western world. So that is why they preferred these Shia Muslims led by Khomeini Sahab. But later on, they too became a headache. They couldn't be controlled, and that is how what was the reality and what was there during the time of the Raza Shah Pehalwi's rule, the last year of Raza Shah Pehalwi's rule. Thank you.